everyone, welcome to Studious IELTS. My name is Surinder Chaudhary. In today's video lecture, I have brought to you a workshop that is related to one particular type of question, that is match the features. Okay, what match the features actually are, that we are going to understand in this workshop, because I have taken an entire passage to study for that, as well as all these questions which fall under the category of match the features will be solved in a detailed method, and I'll tell you how can we make that connection. Okay, so the passage I'm going to take today is, should we try to bring extinct species back to life? This passage has occurred in actual examination as well, and in this passage they gave some questions like this. So what these questions are, try to understand. There are four statements that have been taken from the original passage but in paraphrased manner, because it will not be as it is which has been written in the passage. They have paraphrased it, they have summarized it, and they have given us three options here: A, B, and C. These are the names of those people who have talked about these statements. What we are asked to do is to match this name with the corresponding statement. If we do that correctly, only then we are going to get the scores in such questions. No doubt it's a little confusing because it is paraphrased first of all. Secondly, you will have to collect the information that might be available on the different parts of the passage. So this is how it can be a little tricky, but I'll show you how to solve this and how to make that connection correctly. Okay, before we solve the questions, please remember to read the instructions. So in instructions, in first part, it's very simple that they have told us that we have to match the statements with the correct person who have talked about it. But most important part in this is NB. NB means you can use these options more than once. For example, if two statements are there, for example, statement 1 and statement 4, these might have been talked about only one person, that is Michael Archer. So in this way, you are allowed to use option B twice in your answer. You can also place it with the question number 1 and you can place it with question number 4 as well. That is why NB is there. That NB stands for. So remember that, so that you don't get confused that if I have already used B, can it occur once again? So it will eventually have to, because we have three options but we have four questions. So you will have to use at least one option twice, right? So please be careful about this. Okay. After having a preview on the questions, now we are directly going to move to the part where we will find the right location and we will also solve these questions. So here our first question will appear in front of you. How do I call it first question, or why do I call it first question? Because during my skimming and scanning, what did I do? I marked all those names which appeared in the name of researchers in the entire passage. Along with that, I also underlined their statements. You can clearly see the entire part which has been highlighted in passage is the statement said by Michael Archer. So Michael Archer is the one who is available in the options, and Michael Archer's statement have been elaborated here completely. So first we will have a look on these questions, then we will deeply analyze it, deeply understand it, where does it match. So the questions are, first of all, introducing an extinct species to its original habitat could improve the health of a particular species living there. So does it match with it? Let's try to make a connection. Michael Archer of the University of New South Wales, his statements are, he points out that in the decades since the thylacine went extinct, there has been a spread in a dangerously debilitating facial tumor syndrome which threatens the existence of the Tasmanian devils, the island's other notorious resident. One Tasmanian animal is thylacine, but it has been extinct. But after that, there is one problem that has occurred for another resident of Tasmania, that is Tasmanian devils, and that problem is this facial tumor syndrome. Further, he says thylacines would have prevented this spread because they would have killed significant numbers of Tasmanian devils. The thylacine could have improved that problem with certain way. If that contagious cancer had popped up previously, it would have burned out in whatever region it started. The return of thylacines to Tasmania could help to ensure that devils are never again subjected to risks of this kind. So if we reintroduce thylacines, the another resident of Tasmania can be saved from this problem. Now read that. Reintroducing an extinct species to its original habitat could improve the health of a particular species living there. You can clearly establish the connection with the statement of Michael Archer. So according to me, for question number 1, my answer will be option B, that is Michael Archer. You can also make that connection yourself by pausing the video. You will be able to understand what I mean here. Right? Okay, moving ahead. Further, I have given the corresponding colors to the statements and the given information available in the passage. So we will read question number 2 first. Question number 2 says, it is important to concentrate on the causes of an animal's extinction. It is important to concentrate on the causes of an animal's extinction. So now let's read the corresponding text. It says, there is an explanation by Shapiro. She prefers to focus the debate on how this emerging technology could be used to fully understand why various species went extinct in the first place. She is focusing more upon the reasons why the particular species became extinct in this world. So, according to me, Shapiro is one person who have talked about question number 2. So, I will directly establish this connection between question number 2 and option C. Moving ahead, if we talk about question number 3 now. Question number 3 says, a species brought back from extinction could have an important beneficial impact on the vegetation of its habitat. Now, you can read the corresponding text. In corresponding text, it has been said that with the added nesting habits of a passenger pigeon, this is the species that has been talked about in question, could in theory re-establish that forest disturbance. If this species have been reintroduced, it will certainly put a positive impact on establishment of forest, and it will eventually remove that forest disturbance. So in that case, who has said that? You can read it clearly according to Novak, who is a hybridized band-tailed, who says that a hybridized band-tailed pigeon. And, he is talking about reintroduction of this particular species of pigeons. So you can establish that connection, that question number 3 corresponds to the ideas of this particular person, this particular researcher whose name is Ben Novak. So according to me, question number 3 will correspond with option A. Finally, in question number 4, what did they say? Our current efforts at preserving biodiversity are insufficient. Our current efforts are not sufficient enough to preserve biodiversity. But what the text says, it says, she continues. Who continues? You can clearly establish the connection between the statements of Shapiro, who said something earlier as well. But even in subsequent information, she also added some more ideas. These ideas are, she continues, we know that what we are doing today is not enough. The efforts that has been made today in the context of saving the biodiversity are not enough at all. So you can now make a connection between question number 4 and the corresponding text that has been colored similarly, that Shapiro is the one who has talked about the statement that has been given in question number 4. So even for question number 4, my answer will be C. Now please pause the video once again and establish those connections by yourself before I show you the exact answers. Okay, now there are your answers. If we talk about question number 1, it has B as an answer. Question number 2 corresponds to C. Question number 3 is having the answer A. And finally, C is the right answer for question number 4. So this is how we establish this connection between those people and the statements, because if we do that we are going to find the right answers. But what we have to do in the beginning of your reading, please skim and scan carefully. While skimming and scanning, I suggest you to highlight the names of those people who have been mentioned in your reading, as well as I also request you to highlight there or underline their entire statement what they have talked about. It will be really easy for you to make that connection when you are moving to the questions. That's all. Thank you so much.